In this short video, we're going to learn how to solve for the equilibrium when a subsidy is placed on buyers. Let's consider the perfectly competitive market for high-speed internet. Market demand is 30 minus 0.5p and market supply is 0.5p minus 6. In this case, Q is the number of monthly subscriptions and P, the price per month, is in dollars. Let's suppose in addition that the government is offering a subsidy of $12 per subscription to buyers of high-speed internet. Our goal is to determine the price buyers will pay, the price sellers will receive, and the number of subscriptions sold when the subsidy is in place. What do we need to know to answer this question? We need the demand curve, the supply curve, and the size of the per unit subsidy. How do we solve this question? We need to apply the subsidy wedge condition, which tells us that the price sellers receive is equal to the price buyers pay plus the size of the subsidy. In addition to this subsidy wedge condition, we need our market to clear, so we need the quantity supplied at the seller price to equal the quantity demanded at the buyer price. Let's solve this question. Here's what we know. We have our demand curve, our supply curve, and our $12 subsidy. We are trying to find the price buyers will pay, the price sellers will receive, as well as the equilibrium number of subscriptions when the subsidy is in place. In order to solve this question, we need to apply our subsidy wedge condition and our market clearing condition. So the subsidy wedge condition is that the price that sellers receive is equal to the price that buyers pay plus the subsidy of $12. We'll call that equation 1. In addition to this wedge between the buyer price and the seller price, we also need the market to clear, which means we need the quantity demanded at the buyer price to equal the quantity supplied at the seller price. So we have 30 minus 0.5 PD is equal to 0.5 PS minus 6. These subscripts on the prices are very important when we're solving subsidy questions, so make sure you keep them, don't drop them off, because the buyer price and the seller price are not equal to each other when a subsidy is placed in the market. So we'll call this equation 2. Now what we have is we have a system of 2 equations and 2 unknowns. Using algebra, we should very easily be able to solve for both PD and PS. So what we're going to do is we're going to take equation 1, the subsidy wedge condition, and we're going to substitute it into equation 2. In particular, where we see PS, right here, we're going to plug in what we know about PS. So I have 30 minus 0.5 PD is equal to 0.5 times PD plus 12, all minus 6. And then we do some simplification. 30 minus 0.5 PD is equal to 0.5 PD plus 6 minus 6. Obviously, these are canceling. If we collect our p's together on the right-hand side of the equation, we get 30 is equal to PD. And we can call that equation 3. So we've done quite a lot already. We already know the price that buyers will pay is $30. So with our subsidy wedge condition and our market clearing condition, we've solved for the price buyers pay. Now we can take that price and substitute it back into the subsidy wedge condition to solve for the price that sellers receive. So the price that sellers receive, PS, is equal to the price that buyers pay, 30, plus the subsidy, which is 12. 30 plus 12 is, of course, equal to 42. We can call this equation 4. We're almost done. We know the price that buyers pay and the price that sellers receive. Just want you to take a look at it and notice that because of the subsidization, buyers pay less than what sellers actually receive. Now we're going to use either demand or supply to determine the quantity sold when the subsidy is in place. Keep in mind, you just have to make sure that if you want to use the supply curve, you plug in that the seller price is 42. And if you want to use the demand curve, you plug in that the buyer price is 30. I'm going to use the demand curve. At home, You can test out using the supply curve, and I guarantee you'll get the same quantity. So the quantity sold when the subsidy is in place is 30 minus 0.5 times 30. 30 minus a half of 30 is equal to 15 units. So we have our final solution. Buyers pay 30, sellers receive 42, and 15 units are sold.